everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my studio with Kat's Creations and more. So today I'm going to walk you guys through how to make an everyday black and white, I guess you'd call it almost like a monochromatic look. That's perfect for switching out in between all those holidays that you have for your home or front door. So if this is your first time joining, I'd like to welcome you and say hi. Let me know where you're from. A lot of times we make connections through Facebook Lives. So you might be surprised with somebody here as you say, hi, I'm from, Victorville, California. And people go, oh my God, I'm like in Hesperia. And then you realize how close those are, which are kind of like neighboring cities, right? So, let me crank down my heater a little bit. So, it's kind of a weird day. It's cloudy outside. It feels warm, but inside the shop now it's like almost 70, but it just feels cold today for some reason. So, if you like this tutorial and want to replicate the design, which I always encourage you guys, take a little bit of whatever you like and make it your own. Click the share button down below. That'll put this video on your Facebook page so it is much, much easier to find. Also, if you have not liked and are following my page, if you guys can take a moment and do that, I would so appreciate it. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and pan you down so you can see what I'm doing. It's kind of like how we are right now. You're across from me. So as I tilt the camera down, you're going to see the same view that you would be if you were directly in front of me. Let me make sure you can see all. I always like to make sure that you can see the very bottom portion of the screen so that you're not missing out on the measurements. So we are using a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. I'm trying to get my comments up. Here we go. Okay. There we go. Hi, Arvina. Hi, Pam. Hi, Joanne and Carol and Eileen. Welcome. So 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. I'm just going to do one section. You'll see that there's a grand total of 6. They're all going to be completed the exact same way. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a pipe cleaner. If you notice that there are 4 rails in the entire frame, and then each section is divided by the welds into 6 equal sections. Well, we're going to take that one pipe cleaner and we're going to wire together right in between those welds, find a middle place, and we're just going to twist that together on the 2 innermost rings. So I call those, here it goes, ring 1 and ring 2. So we're going to put them on both of them. That gives greater stability on your pipe cleaner so you don't have to use glue to keep your pipe cleaner in place. Now the second thing we're going to do is now we're going to do the outside 2. We're going to take our pipe cleaner and we're going to use this and our weld and kind of find a halfway point there. And we're going to wire together the outside 2 just like that. And then we're going to take, trying to get another black, we're going to take one and do it on the opposite side. So you can totally tell I'm doing black and white. These designs fare really well, probably because a lot of people have either white or black doors. Hi, Marilyn. Welcome from Florida. All right. So the type of deco mesh that I am using for our sign, here's our sign, and this is from Craft Outlet. You can pick that up at craftoutlet.line or craftoutlet.com online. You don't have to be, a vendor or business owner. Anyone can order from them. This is a 10 by 10 sign. This is going to be the sign that we're using on our design today. So you can pick that up there. So to go with that, we are going to use a new mesh. This is a black and white, what they call drift mesh. So instead of it having little snowballs or little clumps of that white cotton, we have solid lines. So that makes for a really nice deco mesh. So we're cutting these, actually wood burning these pieces to 20-inch lengths. You're going to need 18 of them. Okay. So you would have 6 on the inside, 12 pipe cleaners on the outside for a grand total of 18. That's where we get our 18 pieces cut to 20 inches, and it should use up exactly 1 roll of Deco mesh. So we are just going to take this and we're going to lay it against the curl. You're going to take an invisible line and just kind of imagine where middle is for you. I think it's pretty much right on this center line. And you're just going to start gathering and pulling it towards you. Just like this. Okay. Once you get it all bundled, this is what is known as the ruffle, bow tie, crunch, whatever you want to call it. It just makes for a little crunch. We're going to take that finished edge. We're going to put the finished edge on the inside pipe cleaner towards the center, just like this. And we're going to give it a couple twists. Okay, that's how our pieces are going to go in. Every single one of them is going to go in the same way. All the finished edges will go to the inside, and then we're going to complete them all the way around. We would take our second piece of Deco mesh, fan this out, and go from the center, pull that forward, just like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is push this one out of the way so I can have access to my pipe cleaner. Again, finished edges towards the center. We're going to add piece right here to the outside. And what I covers the inside of both of those pieces. So if we just put 2 on the outside, we might have some in the middle that isn't quite, quite isn't being covered completely. So this gives that appearance that it's a very full section, and that's what it's going to do all the way around. Okay, go ahead and do this last piece. Just like that. Do the same thing. Push that center piece out of the way. Open up your pipe cleaners. We're going to place that finished edges towards the center and give it a couple twists, and then fluff everything out. So now we have access to both of our pipe cleaners on the outside. Do you guys have any questions at all? Hi Karen, welcome from Texas. Teresa, no, this is not a pancake wreath. This is a ruffle wreath. And the difference between them, even though they look the same, is that a pancake wreath only has 6 on the inside and 6 on the outside for a grand total of 12 pieces. This one has 18 pieces. Okay, we are just going to fast forward that. Don't blink, you might miss it. There is it's almost finished. I'm going to take those pieces that we just put on the inside of our demo wreath, and now I'm going to add these to the last 3 sections here to complete this design. So this will show you how full that Deco mesh will make it look. And because I know my sign is fairly large, I am removing the 6 inside pipe cleaners. So we're going to remove those. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that this goes under my adjoining one. And then I have 2 more pieces to add. Let me just borrow these from the pieces we just ruffled. And we're going to do the same thing. Pull those out of the way. Place them finished side in. Okay, we've got our outside piece there. Going to move that out of the way because I've got 1 piece right in here I need to finish. And that is going to be our center one. So I've removed all 6 pipe cleaners, only focusing on the 12 outside ones. Lay that right in. 2 twists, and we're all set. We're ready to start cooking with gas, as they say. So I'm going to make sure those are all laying the way they need to. And we are ready to go. Look at how gorgeous that is. This creates a wreath base that right now is at 24 inches in diameter, which is for a very full wreath. So when we add our sign, this is going to sit front and center right inside that design. I am not focusing on the green. The green is just going to be that lovely accent color. So we're focusing strictly on black and white for this design. And we're going to go ahead and add our ribbon tails and half bows. So the pairing is going to be this 2.5 inch. This is a D. Stevens ribbon. So if you don't know brands, D. Stevens is very expensive because the quality is amazing. So this is a 2.5 inch D. Stevens cut to 14 inches. And then we're pairing that with a herringbone, 1.5 inch cut to 19 inch. Then we're going to be using a 2.5 inch. I call this like a floral. It's kind of got birds. What is it? Birds, bushes, flowers on top of it. And it's a nice thick canvas. Again, 2.5 inches cut to 14 inch piece. And then we're pairing that with, they call them pearl dot rings on black, and that again 1.5 inches is cut to 19 inch pieces. Those are the pairings going around the whole outside. Now the D. Stevens ribbon I purchased from Shinoda Design Center, which is a wholesaler in Southern California. So it does require you to have a business license to purchase from them. However, all of the other ribbon is from Craft Outlet. So you can find those on Craft Outlet as long as they are not currently sold out. So we place those right in the center. I take my ends that are already dovetailed. We're bringing them to the outside. Then we're taking our 1.5 inch. We are bringing the dovetailed edges together. We're going to go up about 2 inches from the top. This is our top, 2 inches here. We're going to create a loop. We're going to lay that right to the inside. Give it a couple twists. And then we're going to open our loop. We are going to, let's zoom you in a little bit. We opened our loop. And we have to right side one of our tails because it's upside down. And then we are going to kind of move our 2.5 inch in between. This way you can see both ribbons represented. Also at the same time, I'm going to be cutting my pipe cleaners down to about 1.5 inches. And we're going to be adding the little scatters and filler balls. So you can get these at Dollar Tree. So we're adding a white and a black to each. There is the black and here is the white. So they're getting one on each end and they're styrofoam, so you just push them on. I will later go back and glue them in place. And that just gives a really nice finished look towards each of those. Okay, now we're going to go through and do our D. Stevens, which is fold them in half just to find midway. This way, when you go and put it into your pipe cleaner, then you know you have equal amounts on both sides and you don't have a lopsided ribbon tail sitting inside your wreath. So one complete twist, fan your ribbon out. Same thing with our houndstooth, dovetail edges together, 2 inches from the top, go ahead and pinch in. We're going to place that right on the inside. Give it a couple twists so there's no possibility that can come out. We're going to trim that down again to about 1.5 inches. We'll go ahead and open our loop, right side our ribbons, just like that. And then we'll add one of our styrofoam balls to each side. just like that. So we're going to add those all the way around the perimeter to kind of give it some more accent, some more detail. Hi Judy, welcome. Hi Audrey. Hi Joanne. How many rolls of Deco mesh to make this design? Just one. They're all cut to 20-inch pieces, which means that you should have, it should take up an entire roll all the way through. There's times that if your Deco mesh is spliced, you know, it kind of might mess up your count. You might come up like a little bit short on one. But what you can do in that instance is use that on the center, since it's just filling in our the in-between space between the two. And you can use a smaller amount there. I've had that happen a couple times, and I'm like, oh Lord, what do I do? We just put that one towards the inside. So we're going to go around and supplement this all the way around, putting in all of our ribbon tails. And these are what are called half bows, because it only has one loop, but it has two tails. So when I first started watching wreath making, I kind of felt like it was an unfinished look when people put two ribbon tails into the center. I felt like it needed something. And so I was like, let's make like an awareness bow, put those to the inside, and I'm just alternating black and white little balls on the end. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this one. So we have 12 pieces of each color. The 2.5-inch pieces are cut to 14 inches. The 1.5 inches are cut to 19 inches. Oops. There we go. Here's our half bow. Pinch up. Place on the center. So I'm kind of like tackling each section. Like before, when I very first started, I'd go all the way around, put in all my ribbon tails, then go all the way around and put in all my half bows. Then I'd go all the way in, and I'm like, oh, let's just do it one at a time. Because I know those of you that like to fast forward, once you get the dimensions, where it all came from, at that point you can just wait and fast forward to the end and see what the next step would be. Hi Tommy, how are you? I love the black and white too. So I'm going to take multiple pictures of this on a black door and then also on a white door, so you can see what this will look like on either, you know, if you have a white door or if you have a black door, what this will look like. And so I've had this sign for a while, and I was thinking, that would make a really pretty black and white wreath. Deborah, all of the ribbon, with the exception of this 2.5-inch white polka dot on black, is all from Craft Outlet. So as long as that ribbon is still available, meaning it hasn't been discontinued or sold out, you should be able to find it on craftoutlet.com. It's online. Now the little scatters and fillers, I have managed to acquire over time, but you can find them Hobby Lobby in their seasonal section. You can find them sometimes too. That one went all the way through. Hobby Lobby in their party section, if you're just looking for like one solid color. You're most welcome, Deborah. And I'm glad that one kind of ejected itself into the trash can on its own. Sometimes the pipe cleaners can be so stiff, you can actually poke holes all the way through. So you want to make sure you don't do that. So this will be a nice change a pace. And I thought about introducing green, like a different floral, like a sagey floral, like lamb's hair. I guess you could. I just kind of don't feel like it needs it. I brought some out, started playing with the design, and I was like, not really feeling any of the green. So we don't always have to use all of the colors that are in our signs. We can be selective. There we go. What do you guys think of the little styrofoam pieces on the ends? Do you think that's okay, or do you think it's too much? I'm still missing my favorite Deco mesh. Hobby Lobby used to carry it a long time ago. It was a black and white and silver 21-inch mesh, but they discontinued it a long time ago. Oh, but it made for the prettiest wreath. It was like it gave you the idea of a vintage, like Hollywood. Awesome. Thank you for replying. Thanks, Pam. Pam says, I love them. Joanne says, love it. Shell says, love it. Awesome. I just felt like it needed something else. So we shall see. Let's get our little styrofoam balls. And we could readjust our little bows as they're kind of going all the way around. Man, I miss Steve reading all my comments and helping me. I was telling him, quite a few of you have asked about him. I'm like, they miss you. He's like, go back to doing Fridays. I'm like, I don't want to. I kind of like the Fridays, even though it's funny, he works till 5. So I'm like, technically I could still do them. But we've had, ever since we moved here, the sun sets later. So it's like our sun doesn't even set here till 8:30 now. So it's still light outside at 8:30. So there's still plenty of time to go out and get stuff done. Yesterday, we tried our riding mower because we haven't ridden it or used it since the last season when we were here in September, and now the battery's dead. So we had to do it the old-fashioned way. We had to hand mow. Hi, Jeannie. I used 1 roll of 10-inch mesh, and yes, I did ruffle method. Oop, grabbed the wrong one. All the ribbon is craft outlet, except for the 2.5-inch white polka dots on the black. Everything else, though, is craftoutlet.com. That black and white polka dot is from Shinoda's Design Center. That was the one time I actually broke down and invested in D. Stevens ribbon. So, it's expensive ribbon, you know. So tonight, after our live, I'm going to go mow the orchard because we have some rain coming in soon. And I want that to be done so we don't have to wait for it to dry before we get the lawns mowed. We could have even put little silver balls on here. Look, the silver would have looked nice too. Silver would be good. So you could go black, white, and gray. Black, white, and silver. in, one complete twist. Hi, Jen. The tails are cut to 14 inches for the 2.5 inch ribbon, and the 1.5 inches is cut to 19 inches for the half bows. Okay. And remember, you can decide which color ribbon do you really want to see more predominantly throughout your design, you know, because there's an overlap that occurs between those sections. So you decide, you know, do you want more white? Do you want more white, more black? Do you want them equally? These are our last set. Okay, there's this one. So what do you guys want to see next? Tell me, what kind of design would you like to see me work on next? There's so many wreaths I've always dreamed of making, but sadly, no one has devised the signs for them yet. And I don't know how well they would fare. Like, I don't know if people would buy them or not. Okay, last one. Tucking it right in here. And then there was a question. I remember seeing it. Yes, I do go back and I glue all the glitter balls back on. I've made that mistake a couple times where I thought I had done it during the live. And then as I'm getting ready to ship, I always quality control check everything. Make sure things are staying glued, that everything is trimmed up, everything is tucked in where it's supposed to be. And there's been a couple times I've gone and pulled on the balls and off they come, which tells me, you never got around to gluing those ones. So yes, they do get glued on. And that's one of the last steps that I will do before this gets hung up in the shop for storage, just so it's ready to go. So if I get into that habit, then I know that, hey, everything is good to go. And last white one. Okay, we are all set there. So that is our design with all of our glitter balls on there. And now we're ready to go ahead and put a bow on. So I'm going to zoom out. That's what it all looks like without our sign. Oh, look at the sign. I want to do one to honor my brother who was in the service. Do you ever do any types of those? Yes, Deborah, I have done every branch of military service out there. So just go to YouTube. That's the easiest way to do it. And then search YouTube and put in military wreaths, Cat's Creations, and all of my military wreath tutorials that are available in the public space are available for you to watch. Just different techniques, different ribbons that were done at that time. So let's move this to the side. We're going to use our bow Deborah. And we are going to, as soon as I find it, if I can find it, maybe I won't find it. I'm not seeing it. Oh, here it is. my official bow recipe. Ta-da! Here's my bow recipe. This will yield with 6 ribbons. You'll need 2 2.5-inch ribbon, but not required. 4 1.5-inch ribbons, again, not required. You can follow the same recipe formula and just alter or change it up as you need to. What it will do is it will yield you an 11-inch in diameter bow based on the loop size, not the tail length. Okay? If you like this recipe, which is what I'm going to show you today, you can go to my website. I'm going to type that at the bottom. Give me just a second, because I don't type very well on the computer screen. Let me find my dot. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know why it goes large. It's going to be catscreationsandmore.com. I'm going to pin that so it's at the bottom for those of you. A bow recipe that you can download for free. And I put it on a recipe card so it looks kind of cute instead of like me just writing this out on paper. So you're eligible to get that for free. Alrighty, ready to go. So we know we have, I'm going to just set this off. Let's see. You can still see that off to the side over here. We're doing our 2.5-inch ribbons. We're probably going to, I'm looking at how they're alternating through here. So there's that. I know I want to, what do I want to put on the end? Let's see. We're also going to do a black and white striped and our Swiss dot. I like how that, believe it or not, I like how that works out just like that. What if we alter the two and do it that way? We could. That way one of our featured ribbon tails is to the outside. I think I'm going to leave it the way I had it. For some reason, I'm drawn to that look a little better. Just like that. So that's how we're going to load them in. So take that stack. This is our D. Stevens ribbon. See? D. Stevens. Ta-da! We are going to dovetail our ends, which is just bring your wired edges together. You're going to cut on the fold side, and depending upon how deep you want that V is where you're going to start your fold or your cut. And you're going to cut from the fold to the wired end. Just like so. Hi, Julie. Thanks for watching in Virginia. So, 2.5-inch ribbon. We're doing a 10-inch tail with 5.5-inch loop. So we're going to measure out 10 inches. We're going to gather right there. We're going to twist, place that inside our bodabra. Then we're going to measure out a 5.5-inch loop. So everything on the bodabra is just twist and slide in. I like to just pair my bodabra on the 10-inch line so that when I stretch out my ribbon, I'm looking for 5.5 inches. It's a little big, not by much. There's 5.5. We want to do that to both sides. So just like that, 5.5, and then back out 10 inches. Go ahead and do another dovetail end. And that one's done. So our next one is also a 2.5-inch ribbon. We're doing ribbon number 2, which is going to be a 9.5-inch tail, 5-inch loop. So we are now doing dovetail end again from the fold to the wired point. 9.5 inches. Gather in, twist, place inside. Now we're doing 5-inch loops. Same thing, always measure, because like any good recipe, if you want to have good results, you follow the instructions. But you can substitute. Just understand that this one yields, you know, it's kind of like chocolate chip cookie recipe. You can opt to put in peanut butter chips and get like a peanut butter cookie with the same chocolate chip recipe dough. You're just substituting the items. Okay, this one is done. Now we're taking ribbon number 3. It's going to be a 9-inch tail with 4.5-inch loops. So this is going to be, let's mix this up. I'm going to do the dots. Let me look real quick, because I'm not exactly sure. I think that, yeah. Okay, there was a reason why I did it, because the dots and the lines are too close, too similar. So we're breaking them up. Okay. So the herringbone, right? Dovetail end. We are doing 9 inches. In. Twist. 4.5 inches. Make sure we're measuring. A little bit more. Up and around. Twist. 9.5. And then we're back out to 9 inches. Dovetail end. Ribbon number 3 is down. Now we're going to take ribbon number 4. It's going to be an 8.5-inch tail and also a 4.5-inch loop. But we get to cheat a little bit, which means, was I doing the dots? Yes. You needed the pearls before the dots. Dovetail end. Okay, 8.5-inch tail, in, over, and this is where we can cheat. Which means when we bring it up and over, if we put our fingers in the bottom loop, because that's also 4.5, and in the top, you can just pull, and then we don't have to measure. Just like so, pull. But we do need to make sure our tail is 8.5 inches. Dovetail. Ribbon number 5, 8-inch tail, 4-inch loop. It's our 1.5-inch ribbon. We'll see, what did I do with my pin? Well, it's almost out. Here we go. Like, we need to order more of that circle pearls. So we're going to do our black and white stripe. Carol, I can't find the bow tutorial. Do you have to pay for the different downloads if you belong to the private group? So, different downloads. So, what do you mean, like the ebook? The ebook is not available to anyone, even in the private group. That's just something that I have collaborated on and created. But like the bow tutorial, you can get in the private group. It's not even anything you have to pay for. Everybody gets it for free. So if you just go to catscreationsandmore.com and scroll down, it's about halfway down the page, and it'll say something about a bow recipe. Like, do you want a free bow recipe? Click here. You just sign up. You just put in your email address so they can email you the bow recipe. And then you're on my email newsletter. So whenever we're ready to launch something new, you'll know about it. Or whenever, if you ever miss a tutorial, I've been trying to, once a month, I'm trying to take input from people who are getting the newsletters, like, what do you want to see? So a lot of people like the recaps on the weekly tutorials, so we've been putting those in. And then doing a monthly themed newsletter, like what's going on in May. It'll all be patriotic decor ideas or things for summer. I think we did patriotic in April. I don't know why. I don't know. No, that was May 1st. I think that was yesterday's. Anyway, ribbon 6, 7.5 inch tail, 3.5 inch loop. So we're doing 7.5, pinch in, and 3.5 inches is our loop size. So we want to make sure, hey, we're at 3.5, up and around. Okay, let me make sure. 3.5, and back out to 7.5. There we go. And then I will show you how to fluff it. So there's two ways you can fluff a ribbon. So if you ever wanted to know what those two ways are, I think I have a video on my YouTube channel on how to fluff the ribbon 2 different ways. One for a down facing, like if you're going to put your bow at the bottom and all the ribbon tails need to be at the bottom, there's that. And then there's just the regular fluff, like what we're going to do today. So you're going to take a pipe cleaner. I like them because they're easier to grab. As you get older, I don't know at what point, I felt like a toddler again. Like I lost my grip to grab things that are small and fine. So to make things easier, I use stuff like pipe cleaners because it's easier on your hands to hold. Also, I notice a lot of people have rheumatoid arthritis, or they've just lost hand strength in their hands for whatever reason. This just makes it easier. So get it ready, put it in a little V shape. You're going to pick up the whole stack, and while you're doing that, we are going to push down on both sides, lift it up. Look, it's a sandwich. You're just going to slide your fingers around so you can drop your pipe cleaner in on top. You're going to hold it at the bottom, and you're just going to twist the stack. You're going to hold your ribbon steady and twist your stack. Okay, you can do that with a zip tie. You can do it with floral wire. Just make sure that if you're doing a zip tie, don't forget you have to have a way of being able to attach that ribbon to your wreath. So don't forget to add something that allows you to attach that into your wreath. This is my fluff board. It's my temporary fluff board. Still waiting on Steve to fix my other one. But this is a 24 inch by 24 inch by 1 inch thick piece of pre-cut lumber. You can get those at your home improvement places. Roughly about $10 to $15. Then pick up a little 1.5 to 2 inch C-hook. You just screw it into the center. Sand your board down so it's nice and smooth. You could even get creative and, take a tape measure and put tape, put all your lines in there. So you have a tape measure / whatever. And it's all good. So I'm just going to take my bow. I'm going to take that C-hook, slide it underneath my pipe cleaner, like so. So that way it's keeping my stack from moving completely off the board. This is what's known as the top. This is known as the bottom. And I always start at the bottom here, bottom of the top. We're separating a loop from its tail. So the loop is going to the left and the tail is going to the right. Now we're going to go to the bottom section, bottom part. We're going to match those up so the tails go the same and the loops go the same, right? They're directly across. So this one, the tail went to the left, loop went to the right. Back over here, we're going to take the next ribbon down and we're going opposites. So we're going to put the tail here, or the loop here, to the right, tail to the left, go down to your bottom stack, and you're going to go opposite. So we're going to take our tail to the right, loop to the left. So now what you're getting is a staggered look of loops and tails all the way around your fluff board. Then from here, we're going to take the next set. Now we're going to follow the black and white polka dot on the top, go to the bottom. We're taking our loop to the right, tail to the left, go back up. We're going to take the loop to the right, tail to the left, go back down to the bottom. Tail's going to go to the right, loop is going to the left. Everything is directly opposite from the top and the bottom. That's all I'm doing. So as I'm bringing these down, I'm just separating them. Loop and tail, left and right. Go to the bottom. Loop now, right, tail, left. Okay, last one, super easy. We're going to go loop to the left, right, tail to the left, and then we're going tail to the right, loop to the left. Now, all we've done is I've separated the tails just like this, and you can customize this any way you want. You could cut all of your ribbon tails so they are the exact size of the loop if you wanted that look. You could leave them the length they are. You could intermix them. This is just how I fluff this particular bow. And then from here, I'm just picking them up at the tops. Okay, I'm not focusing on the tails, just the loops. So I'm physically putting my fingers in them because I don't like flat loops. I like them fluffy, like they have risen, right? And then from here, you're going to grab the next two. And however you want that to lay, if you want the polka dots in between those, and then this to the outside, fine. If you'd rather have this to the outside and your herringbone in the middle, whatever you desire. Okay, that's where you get some like little creative insight. So mine's going in between. Grab that and pull it all the way around. This is now going to the outside. And then we're going to do the bottom ones. We're going to put our whole hand in there because those are some wide ribbons. So we want to make sure those are up and fluffy, nice and pretty. Okay, same thing here. And then back out here. Get them some volume. We took it from two-dimensional or one-dimensional and we made it 3D. So now we want to put the curls back in our ribbon. And all I'm doing is just running them through my hand. That's why we use wired ribbon. It looks so nice. Just like so. It's a little harder towards the bottom because it's on a flat board, but kind of should look like a little spider. Like so. And again, you can just maneuver them any which way you'd like to yield the desired look you want. But there is our bow for the wreath. So we're going to slide that off the same way we put it on, just opposite. Ugh. And I totally forgot my stapler because I was using it this weekend. So give me 1 second. I have to run over and grab the staple gun. This is where I wish I had hold music. So give me 1 second. I knew I forgot something. we're all set. So I'm going to attempt to do this like I was shown. I need to take out the staples that are way too big. Now watch it be the right size. I don't think they were. You want to make sure that you're using 1/4 inch staples. So, no, those were 3/8. Yes, they were 3/8. So these go away. These are going in my staple gun, just like so. Pegging this up, placing this over. There we go. We're all good. We're cooking again. Okay, we're going to prep our sign, which means cutting off the twine. I already have my business card attached to the back. We're going to grab 2 pipe cleaners, and I'm going to attach right here. The reason why 1/4 inch staples is because our sign is only 1/4 inch thick. Anything larger than that would go right through the other side. So simple twist, just to make sure those don't pull all the way through. Let me grab another black pipe cleaner, just like so. Right in here. And now we're back in business. There we go. I was like, I look up and I noticed my stapler is gone. All right, let's bring our wreath back over. We're going to attach our sign and attach our bow. So we are going to, I want to make sure it clears most of my ribbon tails, so my sign is going to kind of go in between those two, in between these, in between those. So right in the center, hopefully. I was going to say, if we plan this right, remember those pipe cleaners we removed in the center? Those are going to tell us where our center is. I'm going to move back some of my mesh. I want to push that down so it's at a depth that I would like to see. I'm going to go back to the opposite side, lift this up. There's my other pipe cleaner. I want to make sure I'm hitting the rails, one on both sides. Go ahead and pull that one down. We don't want to suck it all the way down to the bottom. Okay, but what we want to do is right now, that sign looks very one-dimensional. You can see the square of the sign. We want to kind of soften those edges. So we're going to pull some of our Deco mesh out from underneath our sign, and we're doing what's called feather the edge. Okay, we're going to put our bow here. So this particular Deco mesh I want underneath, because if I don't, it's going to push my bow in all of its loops and everything up higher than I want. So I'm going to tuck those down below. We're still going to bring some of these around. I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom down here. So just grabbing the edge, pulling those up down here. Same thing. There we go. So now we have a more feathered edge look. You can't see the squares up here a little bit, but once we get the bow on, you'll see it kind of disappear. So this is why I like this bow, is because I know where the tails are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my bow so that the ends of my loops are kind of, that corner's going right to the center. This way my tails will fall to the bottom. Let me find my pipe cleaner first. That always helps to know where your pipe cleaner is, so that when it comes time to attach, you know where everything's at. I'm going to take and push this down. Not too far, because we don't want to collapse all that work you just did on fluffing your bow. I have both of my pipe cleaners on the same row, on the same side. So I'm like twisting, trying to figure out why will they not lay the way I want. Super simple, because they're all on the same side. So now we're just going to fluff accordingly all the way around. And then we're going to make sure that our tail cascades in the direction you'd like them to go. So see how we have a very beautiful everyday welcome wreath. And I'm really happy with the way that that turned out. I hope you guys are as well. Let me go ahead and place this on the door behind. I'm going to go ahead and pin you guys up right there. I think we need a little higher. I'm going to have to readjust my mount or move my door closer. I think I need to move my door closer. So we're going to take this. We're going to place that on our white door. I need to make sure it's hung correctly. And then we can go ahead and make sure all of our ribbon tails are in the right direction, that nothing is smashed, everything is open, nice and full. All of our ribbon tails are projecting out. Those are not flat. Same thing down here. Make sure everything is out so you can see everything that you have used. Okay. Sometimes when we're putting our bows in, things kind of get rearranged. So you want to make sure everything is visible that you have on your wreath. Just like so. And I just made it all crooked. I guess that would help if I actually put it on the actual door hanger. There we go. I think we're okay. What do you guys think? Let me zoom in so you can actually see that. There is our finished design. So this is available in my shop currently right now. I'm going to put this at what we call a budget price. And not that I have skimped on anything, but I wanted to make some things affordable for people who are looking for some great last minute gifts for mom, because Mother's Day is not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So you still have time to pick this up and get this out. And then this is something that she could put on her door. Sorry, something she could put on her door in between all the seasons, right? Because if you buy her a Mother's Day wreath, you know, it's Mother's Day. And then once it's gone, you want to switch it out and put in something different. So this is what I call an in-between wreath, something that you can put up every day in between all your seasonal holiday wreaths. So do you guys have any questions? What is on my door to make it stand and roll around, Homie asked? It's on casters. So it's on wheels that just move to the right or left. And then I have little, it's like a kickstand on front and back to keep it from falling over. So yeah, that's what's on my door to make it a prop door. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to go outside and finish mowing my orchard now. So I will talk to you guys on Thursday. So don't forget, Thursdays, it's at 11 o'clock a.m. for Pacific viewers, which is those of us on the West Coast. 1 o'clock Central or 2 o'clock Eastern time. I have to think about that. So I hope you guys will come back and join me for another amazing design. And I'll talk to you all soon. So thanks for joining me. Bye for now.